was never really good playing role of the puppet. Too busy being me to be concerned with perception of the public. Everyone is buzzing, but everybody ain't thinking about a budget. I want ownership in something. Niggas get they way.
And by world standards, but it means that you're storing up your riches in heaven.
That's right.
But then you could be a glitch in the matrix, and you realize, and by the grace of God, I've realized that you can still have worldly wealth and still be storing up your riches in heaven. It's not impossible. You know what I mean? So shout out to the people with the big public platforms who still put God on display boldly. Shout out to Coach Prime.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dee-1 Sanders. Get into the bag, but get into the blessing, Jeremy, and still put that word out there. It's possible.
And see, I love what you said right there, but as a free man,
I'm gonna stop that right there. This is the video where Dee-1 seemingly responds to Jim Jones, and we gonna get into what's really going on, because Jim Jones done said threats this man way, so we gonna figure out what's going on, and we gonna get back to it.
And Joseph was a rich man, you know what I'm saying? Moses, everybody, David, they was all rich men. So what was their difference in being rich and the people who are rich today? In order to get them riches, that's the deal. And if it's not, them blessings and that elevation is not coming from God, if you're having to glorify things that are clearly not of God and not right in God, you know, it's as you're saying the blessing. But Moses, that's not even funny. Like, where are you doing that? Killed. Paul was Saul, killed. They did all these things, but they were still great people. So is it up to us to say, you glorifying it? That's when I think it becomes judgmental and we judging, you feel me? And you know, when you say, I'm doing this, I'm giving this, I'm doing this, it's looking good. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But so are you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we have to be, shows a great understanding of each other.
See, everybody want to kind of give these brothers out, and Dee-1 like, no, see, I understand what y'all saying, but it's the messaging. It's where the journey that we take our people, like being a criminal and indulging in criminal activities are not the only ways out of the situations that we find ourselves in these poverty-stricken and impoverished neighborhoods. This is not by accident. This is all by design. And sometimes, long before we become the solution, we are part of, if not the problem. So that's all the brother's saying. And you can do great things, great acts, great deeds, but if your messaging don't line up with your actions, what message are you truly sending? Now, granted, it's entertainment, it's music, it's something that we listen to, it's something that our children listen to. Now, on the flip side of that, no one should be raising your children but you. You need to be paying attention to what your children are doing at all times, what they listening to. Keep your finger on the pulse of what they are doing and keep a certain level of control in your household. That part we do have accountability for. So entertainers got to be better entertainers. Hey, listen, man, I said that on the album, but that was just for entertainment purposes. That's not how I'm truly living. And 15.
Oh, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's a bad person. Maybe he's like a bad person. I'm not a bad person. A lot of us have good enough because we all have to grow to the realization of who we really are. I realize when we realize that's when we have everything. It's never good. It's just not. That's it, bro. Accountability is not an attack. That doesn't mean that we're not called to show grace to people and be patient with people. But at a certain point, it's not hating on nobody. It's not being jealous. It's not trying to go viral on somebody's name. It's called accountability, man. They won't call it clout chasing when they're looking for an excuse to basically be like, hey, don't hold people accountable. One thing I would never do. Two things I would never do. Y'all in the hallway record this. For those of y'all watching online, the hallway is packed. You heard me? They like, oh, they talking here. Two things I would never do. Number one, I would never publicly calling out someone for vices or shortcomings that they're dealing with personally. So you dealing with this as a man behind the scenes and you're struggling with this, but I'm going to go put that on Front Street publicly. No, public actions and public messages deserve public responses. So I never do that because that's bullying and taking advantage of somebody. That's number one. Number two, I will never talk about.
He stood on business and he said, the hell he said, that's the point. Nobody want to hear the truth. Problem being, Jim Jones, let's see, you've been rapping for 20 years. You, Cam, me, been in the game since the 90s somewhere. The mid-90s, right? Y'all 40 plus. The things you rapping about, you're no longer doing. You're no longer a part of. These kids, see, the older generation know that. From 30 to 45, 50, know that you guys ain't doing what y'all say y'all doing, and it's just entertainment, right? When it comes to somebody like Rick Ross, you've been in the game since the late 90s as well. You in your 40s, even though we seen your music in 2006. The same can be said for Meek. By you being born in 87, you're about 36, 37. You've been in the game for a good 12 to 15 years. We know that these things are not going on, but these kids, these teenagers who listen to y'all, listen to Lil Baby, listen to whoever else, they don't know.
And the little young dudes that's still in their 20s, they're still trying to figure life out. They dealing with trouble. They're getting popular and famous off of glorifying a bunch of messages that's getting them paid, but it might not be the healthiest for the community. Their brain is still developing until they're the age of 27. Come out in such a way that's like, man.
I was never really good playing role of the puppet. Too busy being me, to be concerned with perception of the public. Everyone is buzzing, but everybody ain't thinking about a budget. I want ownership in something. Niggas get they win.